Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing is run on the dirt that they truck into the stadiums across America. At least it's supposed to be dirt. In Southern California, this year's rainy conditions made the track more like a mud bath. And as always, by the time we hit Las Vegas, the desert brings us a dust bowl. Temperatures soaring as high as 114 degrees this year. And it is the drivers, Rod Millen, Ivan Stewart, Rick, and Jimmy Johnson, and Roger MEARS and their crews that have to adapt. And now we're at Denver's Mile High Stadium, and the thin air is coupled with temperatures at the other end of the spectrum. 36 degrees at race time. It's going to go down into the high 20s, and there is a chance of snow. And we'll see who has done their homework tonight as we bring you Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies. It's round 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Championship on ESPN. ESPN, the world leader in motorsports coverage, welcomes you to Denver's Mile High Stadium, where the temperature is a very brisk 36 degrees at the home of the Denver Broncos and Colorado Rockies. But tonight, it's Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies, as it's round number 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. Hello again, everyone. I'm Marty Reed, and it is going to be a very dramatic night because there's a championship at stake in Grand National Sport Trucks, but also because of the fact of the temperature, as well as the fact that we are a mile in the air. Let me bring in my partner. It is Ralph Shaheen. And Ralph, the challenge facing these drivers and crews tonight is enormous.
Oh, it really is, Marty. You know, we are here in Denver. We are in the heart of the Rockies, and we are way up in altitude. And that altitude is really going to mess with the engines here tonight. But the teams that have the electronic fuel management systems will be able to adjust. But the cold temperatures are not going to be tough for the drivers or the trucks, but tough for those crew members as they try to stay focused on the task at hand.
Well, right now, as we look at Grand National Sport Truck action tonight, Toyota's got a virtual lock on their 10th Manufacturers Championship, but the Drivers' Championship is up for grabs.
It is. They talk a little bit about the fat lady singing. Well, she's not singing just yet, but she's warming up backstage for Rod Millen. As you can see, he is sitting on top of Rick Johnson. He's got to get through tonight if he really wants to lock it down. But the guy to keep your eyes on is Ivan Stewart. He sits fourth. He's never finished worse than third in a Mickey Thompson Championship Series season. There's one other guy we got to watch tonight, Roger MEARS. In 5 previous runnings of this event, he has won it 3 times. He's trackside with our Bart Kendall. Bart?
If I had to call a favorite for tonight's event, I'd have to choose this man to my left, Roger MEARS Sr. Roger has won this event 3 of the 5 years it's been run here. He's also had a lot of success a little south here in Colorado at Pikes Peak. You've won that event 3 times. Has your success at Pikes Peak, did that help you become successful here at Mile High?
Yes, it definitely did. Yeah, we got to learn more about how to put compression into motors and jetting and that kind of thing. So I do definitely think in the beginning it helped. Now these guys have caught up to us, because they've all figured it out. So I don't think we had quite the advantage we used to have.
How about tonight? How do you feel about your chances?
Feel real good about tonight. I could feel better. We lost the motor early in practice, and we got a little softer motor in there. So we'll be down on power a little bit, but our Bud Conoco trucks are running real good.
Well, the Denver Broncos have a definite home field advantage when they play in Mile High. I'd have to say he's the home team tonight.
Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing is brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. And by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. And by Haviland Formula 3 Motor Oil. Add more life to your car.
Let's take a quick lap around the Mile High circuit. The first thing you'll notice about the track here at Denver is that it's all one lane. No split lanes here in the Mile High circuit. Once underway, you go through a quick washboard section and the first of 2 right-hand corners. This one just a sweeper. Over a big jump and down to turn number 2. This leads you into the fastest section of the racetrack. As you go over the 2 main jumps to the end of the main straightaway, you will approach speeds of 65 miles an hour. Through turn 3 in a rhythm section. Down to turn 4, another left-hander, and a variation of that very same rhythm section. When you come to turn 5, it is the only other right-hander. As you exit turn 5, it's over one more section of the rhythm jumps down to turn 6. The final hairpin would send you back over 2 jumps and a lap here at Mile High Stadium.
Well, everybody's bundled up for the first heat race tonight as Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies is about to begin with Grand National Sport Truck action. And what's going to be interesting, Ralph, is back in row number 4, the 2 fast qualifiers. There he is, Rod Millen, right alongside the man in second place, number 7 there, Rick Johnson.
Those two, of course, were the fast qualifiers, so they will invert them. And look at this guy, Roger MEARS. We talked about it, the MEARS magic here in Denver. 3 wins out of the last 5 times the series has visited Mile High Stadium.
Gary Scheimer sets the field, and we're underway at Mile High Stadium. Who's going to have the horsepower through turns 1 and 2? It looks to be Jimmy Johnson.
Well, here's the high-speed section, and we'll see them for the first time at full speed, reaching speeds of 65 miles an hour before you get to that corner.
2 and 3 abreast as they came down there, and you can't take the corners 3 abreast. So far, everybody clean. Remember, if you were with us at Las Vegas, it was literally a demolition derby in the first heat, trying to get sorted out through a couple of tight corners. That is the tightest corner that the series runs on. Here it's more wide open, and the benefits are paying big dividends, Ralph.
They sure are right now for the Chevy trucks. There you see the battle back in second place. That in truck number 11 is Jeff Ward, and behind him in the number 4, Roger MEARS Sr. As we watch them sweep through down by our barrier camp, there's that battle for second raging on to turn number 3. Jimmy Johnson, meanwhile, is wide open. He's gone. He's way out in front. This is the best battle on the track.
The one question I have for team owner John Nelson is, if this truck's having gremlin problems in the number 14, I want to know what they are, because he is cannon shot out in front of this field. Roger MEARS ducks underneath Jeff Ward, and the experience of MEARS, he takes over second place.
One of the things that Wardy's going to have to get adjusted to is he's about to almost lose third place. He's getting hounded now by Ivan Stewart. Wardy's going to have to get used to the sides of those trucks. He is used to running on motorcycles, and it was one of the biggest adjustments for Rick Johnson, getting used to the fact that he has different body panels around him that he has to adjust to. He's made a tremendous adjustment to this truck, and he says once you figure out where the truck is, you're okay.
And we've got Jeff Ward over on his side, down in turn number 5, and that will bring out a full course yellow.
Let's take a look at how it happened to Jeff Ward as they went down into turn number 5, the only other right-hander. Zip, right up and over the barrier. And again, Marty, that's a part of him just learning the boundaries of that truck and where those barriers are.
Looking back at the back of the pack, that's Jimmy Nichols. We'll work our way forward. There is what's left of Jeff Ward's vehicle. And the restart of heat race number 1 is underway. And Jimmy Johnson now has Roger MEARS right on his back bumper. And we're going to see if Chevy Thunder can pull away from the Budweiser Conoco Nissan one more time. Down through turn number 3. Still pretty much single file, although Walker Evans trying to work inside Ivan Stewart. Right there you see him, but Ivan able to shut the door. Boy, Jimmy's doing a good job.
He really charged hard into those first couple of corners to try and reopen up that lead. You can see how much they get bounced around inside the trucks.
So Jimmy Johnson again with, traffic coming after him. And there you saw Rick Johnson. He's got damage to the right front quarter panel of his Chevrolet, and he is falling back. Oh, no! Jimmy Johnson, our race leader, has gone over in turn number 3. So Jimmy Johnson, unable to capitalize on his early lead, hands it right to that man, Roger MEARS.
Here's the replay. Let's take a look. There you see that's Ivan Stewart in the 2, and he did. He just went in real hot, and he tipped it over a little bit, caught a bit of a rut. The weight got shifted over to the right side of the truck, and there was nothing he could do but let it roll over.
We're ready for the restart now in heat race number 1. Jimmy Johnson at the back of the pack. Roger MEARS, who has dominated this event over the years, winning 3 out of the 5 times that this tour has stopped here in Denver's Mile High Stadium. Laps are winding down, 2 remaining. And you're right, McCachran really coming on strong, giving the Iron Man all he can handle.
Look at the truck in the rhythm sections. Look how it gets through there.
The problem is, can he make it stick right there?
That's the move.
Now it's Ivan's turn on the left side. He'll have the inside corner, but no! They get into each other, and Ivan, yes, will be able to get around the corner and hold on to second place. But in the meantime, Roger MEARS has opened up now a 7 truck length lead.
Boy, Rob McCachran had the right idea, Marty. He just ran out of straightaway to really secure the deal. Now I think he's going to run out of time as far as catching him with just 1 lap to go.
Let me correct myself one more time. You're going to see Rick Johnson's truck right there. He has refired the motor and is limping around.
And that could be a problem for MEARS.
Mears has got a big problem. He got sideways over the rhythm section. He's going to have a duel with Ivan Stewart down the straightaway heading into turn number 5, 6.
And here comes McCachran.
McCachran also in this in a 3-truck battle with 1 lap coming up. The white flag will come out this time around.
Oh, this could be good. Here comes the contact. You know it's coming.
Heading past what will be the finish line, and Gary Scheimer, final lap. Roger Mears, Ivan Stewart, Rob McCachran, and Walker Evans.
Boy, these are 3 of the most determined drivers in our series, and none of them want to give up an inch, and they're going to fight for every bit of this chunk of Baja territory.
Boy, Mears, all of a sudden, after having some great handling, has had a couple of... Oh, no, Ivan Stewart is up and over. Rob McCachran gets into him, and I'm sure Rough Driving is going to be taking a look at that. It is going to be Roger Mears taking the checkered flag. We'll wait as another truck has gone over, and that was Rob McCachran. So we'll sort that out for you as you see the checkered flag for Roger Mears Sr. Then Walker Evans in second. Roger Mears Jr. crosses the line third, but we're going to have to wait and see how this all sorts out because Ivan Stewart and Rob McCachran are both sitting on their side. King of Beers. Now, here's Bart Kendall.
When you ask the drivers if they like this track here at Mile High Stadium, they always give you a big smile and a thumbs up because as racers are, they love speed, and this is the fastest track they'll race on all year. What does this mean to them? Well, it's going to put a premium on braking, also nice precise driving as they will be sliding out to the very edge of the barriers at pretty high speeds. Also, extremely long straightaways. As you can see right now, I'm standing on the front straightaway. It's over 100 yards long. They'll reach speeds almost up to 50 miles an hour. Wouldn't John Elway and the Broncos like a receiver with that kind of speed?
You notice the NFL logo on the field. That is the home of the Denver Broncos, and they call it Wade's Place now. We're going to call it Super 1600 Heat number 2 action right at this moment, as an old friend has returned from a retirement to come out and join us in his home neighborhood. He's from Arvada, nearby here in Denver. On the front row, the number 4, the yellow car there, Mitch Mustard.
And he might call it Mitch's Place by the time this event is over. He's a guy who really knows how to dial in a motor for this high-altitude racing up here in the state of Colorado, and Mitch could just be the guy to beat here tonight, Marty.
Green flag drops. It's great to see Mitch back behind the wheel, and immediately he picks up right where he left off. He's going to take the lead heading through the second corner.
Down the fast front straightaway to turn number 3. Everybody single file through there. One of the smoothest starts we've had all night. Everybody pretty much just sorting themselves out right now.
Gary Gall in second place, and then, whoa, there was a car getting sideways. Marty Hart is in third. But right now, Mitch Mustard holding on to the lead. Doesn't look like he's missed a beat in this 1 year of retirement.
Not at all. And on a tricky, demanding racetrack, we say it's a very fast circuit, but let's remind you, ladies and gentlemen, it's a very technical track. As we pointed out to you earlier, the way they have the corners set up, if you don't hit the corner right, you can very easily end up into the hydro barriers.
Well, what's impressed me is that despite all the time that he has not been racing and coming out to a high-speed circuit, you notice he's not making any mistakes. Got a pass for second place. That's Marty Hart going underneath Gary Gall. Hart takes over second.
And you're right, Marty. He is extremely smooth here tonight. And it is a very difficult thing to do in these machines, especially with the turning brakes.
Oh, I think it's difficult no matter what form of racing you're in. If you're not getting stick time, wheel time, whatever, you just aren't getting enough practice to stay as proficient as you need to be. Down into turn number 3 again. It's nose-to-tail action. Marty Hart obviously trying to force Mitch into a mistake. He's probably thinking, hey, look, uh-oh, he's got a shot down the inside. Can he make it stick? On the outside, look at Mitch Mustard. He doesn't give up an inch. He holds the outside line and maintains the lead.
There was quite a bit of contact in that corner, and neither driver gave an inch, and Mitch really hung on tight and did what he had to do.
I'm going to tell you, that's a turning point in the race right there. If Marty Hart makes that pass, it breaks Mitch Mustard's back, but Mitch holds on and does a spectacular job in the process. I don't think Hart has anything left to show him.
Not at this point, because he had challenged him from every side he possibly could, except for something like that. The mistake that we thought he wouldn't make, he did, and it opened the door. He has broken the machine. He came down real, oh, and look at this. Just as he gets out in front, Gary Gall makes a mistake. Now, can Mitch Mustard win this thing with a broken machine?
Well, yeah, it looks like the control arm has snapped on the right front wheel. He's still able, remember, all the weight is in the rear of these things, so as long as he can maintain forward momentum, he's going to plow his way on through. But everybody else is starting to close because obviously you've got a lot of drag, so the steering definitely affects it. In fact, Gary Gall is coming up right behind Mitch Mustard. What a shame. Mitch pulls over. He knows he cannot maintain the battle, so it is now Gary Gall first, Marty Hart second, and then the number 8 of Kevin Smith third. In fact, Kevin Smith now moves into second place.
And the number 3 of Marty Hart has another problem and slips back from second to third now.
So Mitch Mustard's still maintaining fourth at this moment, but there's just too many laps to go. He's probably going to lose that position as well to Wes Banks in the number 21. But let's talk a little bit about Gary Gall. Finished 5th in the points last year. 1 lap to go now as the white flag comes out. And right now he is 4th in the points championship chase, heading into tonight's action here at Mile High Stadium.
And he was our winner back in Seattle in March inside the Kingdom, so he is not a stranger to Victory Circle in the Mickey Thompson Tour. And a challenge for the lead now.
Kevin Smith tried to make a move, cannot make it stick, got a little bit sideways in the rhythm section. Gary Gall maintains the lead. 2 turns yet to go.
Kevin's a 2-time winner on the Tour this year. He claimed the victory at Anaheim for 1, and here we come off the final corner. Checkered flag is going to go to car number 8, Kevin Smith. At this point in the race, Marty Hart was leading in the red and white number 3. And look at the wheel on Mitch Mustard's car. That is why. Mitch went off hard on the right nose. The wheel broke, but then he was able to get the lead back as Marty Hart made a mistake. Unfortunately for Mitch Mustard, he would not be able to hold on to the lead as the wheel was just too damaged, and the victory instead would go to this man, number 8, Kevin Smith, who made a dramatic pass coming out of the last corner right here on car number 5, Gary Gall, was able to power across the checkered flag for the win. A look at the highlights from the Ultracross Heat number 1, and if you were on a Yamaha and your name was Sean Kalos, this is what you had to look at all night long in your heat race. He just disappeared and went on to claim the checkered flag. If you want to race Ultracross, you got to be young and tough. Take a look on the left side of your screen. Bike number 9, Sean Kalos. He knows it's going to hurt right here. Oh, boy, that hurt. Oh, he takes a beating in the rhythm section. Sean Kalos looked like he was going to be down and out for the count, but look at this, folks. He got going again on the motorcycle. And he even did a little high-tech maintenance to get it right. While he was doing that, out front, his teammate Larry Brooks on the Yamaha number 3 claimed the victory for Team No Lead.
Let's take a look at the main event in 4-wheel ATV, and what a ride.
If you want to know how to make an ATV go fast, it's just like this. See how Greg Stewart really hangs off the side? That made the difference in this one as he sailed on to claim the checkered flag. Hanging off the side, getting all the momentum out of that machine that he could, made all the difference here tonight in Mile High Stadium.
The name is certainly familiar, Jeff Ward. He's worn the number 1 plate 7 different times in Supercross action in his 15-year career. But now it's number 11. He's made the switch to 4-wheel stadium off-road racing, driving with Walker Evans. After 15 years on the back of a Kawasaki, Jeff Ward has made the jump to off-road truck racing, joining forces with Walker Evans and his Dodge racing team. In his first Mickey Thompson Stadium off-road race at Salt Lake City, Jeff came home third in the main event. But his strong finish should be no surprise. After all, he is the only person ever to win all 4 Supercross divisions.
Well, I think racing's racing. I think the mentality of a driver, a rider, has got to figure out what the driver in front of him is going to do and anticipate moves. And on the track, you know, we got the jumps, and what I've noticed is in the trucks, when you go to miss something, I'm tensing up like it's going to hurt, and it doesn't hurt. So that fear factor is gone, and you can just let it hang out, and you can just bang trucks and not worry about any injuries.
There is no doubt Jeff has the talent to be a force in off-road racing. In his second event at Las Vegas, he qualified 1/10 of a second slower than his living legend boss.
Eventually, you know, I'll get to where I can, I'll know more about the truck and what to expect. Right now, I'm just driving by the seat of my pants. I'm not worried about the setup, and Walker do all that and put it on my truck and just learn, and hopefully I can go into next year and then go for a championship.
So it will be a lot of fun watching Jeff Ward, not only in his progress through tonight, but throughout his stadium off-road racing career. Well, the temperature's dropping, but the battle for the points championship continues to heat up in Grand National Sport Trucks. It is Rod Millen on top now. Rick Johnson has a dismal performance in heat race number 1. The margin is now 390 to 322. Rob McCachran in third at 313. Ivan Stewart in fourth at 305. But there's been a shift at the bottom of the heap. In 6th place now, Roger Mears Jr. has been bumped out of 6th by Walker Evans. There you see Jimmy Johnson duct tape holding a lot of those pieces together. A lot of damage to that vehicle in the rollover in heat 8 race number 1, but at least he's better off than Danny Thompson. Thompson should be in front of him, and he is not going to make the call for heat race number 2. The green flag waves, and we're underway. That's Roger Mears Jr. on the outside. Jimmy Johnson, Mears Jr. heading for turn number 2. It'll be Mears Jr., then Johnson, then Ivan Stewart, and then Jeff Ward.
Down to the end of the very fast section. He's now into the tighter portions.
Ivan Stewart's moved into 2nd place. Jimmy Johnson's now 3rd. Mears Jr. in front. Jeff Ward doing a fine job of holding on to 4th place. Then back further, it's Rob McCachran and Walker Evans. Then Rick Johnson.
Well, there's a ton of congestion back behind these 3, but up front they have really spaced themselves out. Now it's a question of, can anybody close on anybody?
Roger Mears Jr. down into turn 3. Now you're on board with Jimmy Johnson. Johnson in 3rd and looking to close in on Ivan Stewart, who is running in 2nd in the Toyota. So there is your leader now, Roger Mears Jr., and right behind him, Ivan Stewart, followed by Jeff Ward. Action behind him getting a little sideways between Walker Evans and Roger Mears Sr. and Rob McCachran.
Marty, I've watched the number 11 of Jeff Ward. He is really charging to the front here. He has come right up on the backside of Ivan Stewart, and Wardy is really figuring out this Dodge truck. He's got a good rhythm going, and he's going to be giving the Iron Man some fits here before this heat is over.
They're on the back stretch, which actually works as the starting line area, then through the quick turn 1 complex. Here is turn 2, and this is what is the finish line of the race course. Oh, and Jeff Ward takes a right turn hard into the hydro barrier. I don't know if somebody turned into him or pushed him, but we've got a full course yellow as Jimmy Johnson gets swept up in it, as does Rob McCachran.
Watch Jeff Ward. He carries so much speed into this corner. The rear end gets out, hits the hydro barrier, and sends him nose first way up into the barriers, all the way up into the railing, and collects Jimmy Johnson.
Keep finishing races, Ralph.
Well, he is doing exactly what he has to do. We know he would like to win, but it's finishing to win the championship that's most important.
Green flag drops from Gary Scheimer. We're underway again. A lot of action down into turn number 2.
Not only is the top speed so phenomenal on these machines, but the 0 to 65 speed, as you said, just 100 yards long or 100 feet long, and they get to it in a hurry. And here comes a challenge for the lead.
Oh, nice turn by Ivan Stewart. Ivan, and now Mears Jr. with a good inside line on this turn. Door handle to door handle. Jr. and the Iron Man, and they are still side by side. It can't last much longer. There's too many turns coming up.
That was some very fabulous driving, Marty. Two drivers who are going at it very, very hard, but very cleanly.
Yeah, you notice
neither of the drivers was really leaning on each other.
Well, you notice they all still have their side panels. That's amazing. I mean, it is so tight in some of these corners. They usually rub it off of each other. But you're right, Ralph. A very clean set of maneuvers by both drivers. Rob McCachran in third place. Fourth is now Rick Johnson. We can tell you that Jimmy Johnson has retired the number 14 Chevrolet.
Rob McCachran trying to get back in the thick of this one to see if he can make something happen. And Roger Mears Jr., one reason why he's being able to hold off Rob McCachran is because McCachran is driving so hard that he's not driving as smooth as he needs to make up the difference.
White flag is out for the Iron Man. Now, we also should tell you Roger Mears Sr. is out of this race. We better hope it's not a motor. He was on his backup motor after practice and qualifying today. In fact, he won heat race number 1 with the backup motor, but he is stalled at turn 2, so we'll keep our eyes and ears posted to see what happens there between the heat and the main. It looks like Ivan Stewart is going to take heat race number 2 for Team Toyota. He's only got one more left-hand turn, and it's coming up here. The Iron Man will look right at Gary Scheimer's checkered flag. It'll be the number 6 of Roger Mears Jr. second, and the number 7 of Rick Johnson third.
Ivan, tell me a little bit about how you made that pass on Roger Mears Jr. to take over the lead.
Well, I tell you, Ralph, the track is fantastic. The only problem is passing is very, very difficult. You work on a guy, you watch him, and say, where's he a little bit weak? And this happened to be the spot I thought I could get him, right down there to the inside. And if I could get good drive coming out of that corner, I figured I'd have him. Although he did stay with me here for a little bit, but it worked out good. The Toyota's working fantastic. BF Goodrich tires, we got to really find that right tire combination. Right now, I'm good. If it gets a little damper, it could be different, so we'll watch the track.
But you got 2 wins out of the last 3, maybe 3 for 4 later on tonight. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
After watching the Mickey Thompson series, you might think it must be extremely rough on the drivers. Although it is no walk in the park, it's a lot smoother than you might think because of the sophisticated suspension system on these trucks. This is the front of the Nelson & Nelson Chevrolet. This is the shock right here, the shock canister or reservoir right here. This red thing right here is the spring, which is a lot longer than you find on a standard truck. And these are what we call limiter straps, which keep the shock absorber from traveling too far. Now, I think most teams will agree that the proper combination and preparation of the different suspension components is the key to a race-winning truck.
Well, stadium truck racing differs greatly from any other forms of motorsport. The sophistication on today's stadium shocks are that you have a chrome moly can, approximately 14 to 21 inches of travel, a silicon bronze piston, a reservoir that holds extra oil and nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas being in there to keep the oil cool.
What I have sitting in front of me is the lightning rod shock here. This external canister here is half filled with nitrogen gas, half filled with oil. The oil is then pumped up into the body of the shock absorber. These 4 things right here are called external bypass tubes with valves here. And what this adjusts is the rebound and bump of the shock absorber. This long one here adjusts the rebound. These 3 adjust the bump. The long one here affects how the truck travels over the larger jumps. This medium length one down here affects how the truck travels over the medium-sized bumps. And this small one right here affects how the truck travels over the rumble strip type bumps. The performance of this shock is so amazing that one of the most successful road racing teams, the CompTech Acura team, recently attended one of these races because they wanted to find out how to apply this technology to their road racing cars.
Basically, what our objective is to try to make the cars as drivable as possible, meaning we've got to take all the obstacles on the course and make it so that the driver doesn't feel them. If we can give him that ride that's a Lexus ride that says everything feels good to me, he's going to drive as fast as he can until he's uncomfortable and back off.
Time now for the American Racing Custom Wheel Sport Utility main event, and it is going to be a showdown with Tommy Croft and Larry Noel in row 2. There are the cars on row number 1, Chris Neal and Brian Collins. 9 total vehicles processed for this event, And we're just about ready to go racing. You got to give edge to the two Jeeps, even though they're in row number 2.
Boy, how could you not, the way they've been so dominant all year long. Jumping out in front, car number 4, truck number 4, Christopher Neal, and closing in rapidly. Here come the two Jeeps.
Remember, Tommy Croft, currently in second place, has won 5 main events in a row. Look out, trouble for Chris Neal. And guess who's going to be the big beneficiary? It is number 1, Tommy Croft. He could be on his way to victory number 6 in a row.
And there you see the battle for second and third. The Porsche car number 5, that's Brian Collins, and the truck, the number 28 machine, belonging to Corey Witherall. He came up from the inside of row number 3, so a good run for him.
That's the number 4 of Chris Neal you saw hung up on the hydro barrier momentarily. The racing will continue because he's not in a dangerous position. There he is coming off the hydro barrier. The crowd gives him a big round of applause, and they're going to give a big round of applause to Tommy Croft because he has opened up about a 10 car length lead over Brian Collins and then Corey Witherall. Oh, Collins hits it nose heavy and gives up 3 positions. I'm amazed he's even got a spine lift.
I like my seat a lot better, Marty.
No, it's a little bit safer. Action behind. Look at this. Tommy has opened up another 7-8 car length lead, and this is the battle for second place between the number 3 of Tim Lewis and then Corey Witherall.
And a good battle it is, and if Tommy Croft can win this, he will have won his 6th race in a row. But this gentleman right here would like to have a say in that. And another one of the Jeeps, the number 3 of Tim Lewis, doing his best to catch up to give Tommy Croft a run for his money. But I don't think he's going to be able to do it tonight, Marty.
Well, you see that penalty flag that was handed out to number 3 Tim Lewis. He will have to head for the penalty box where he will be assessed a time penalty. Now there you see him. He will be pulling in here momentarily if he saw the flag, and it does appear, yes, he is pulling in. He will get stopped right there. They will count the official time. It's a 5-second stop and go. He's back underway, but it cost him 3 positions, Ralph.
It cost him quite a bit. Unfortunate mistake for him, but there's the man out front who is having such a smooth second half to this season, looking for his 6th main event win on the 1993 circuit.
And here's what it looks like again when you're riding on the front bumper of the Jeep, driven by Tommy Croft. And the Tomahawk is doing a better chop right now than even the Atlanta Braves or Florida State. I mean, he is killing this field by a huge margin. Well, Tommy came into this event with a 100-point lead. He leaves here tonight with more than 85, which he's going to do. He clinches the Drivers' Championship. That's the battle for second place. Witherall and Croft's teammate, Larry Noel. And Noel takes over the position, at least momentarily. But Croft, I mean, he is... no, Larry Noel T-bones him. That is going to get a ruling from rough driving, I'm sure.
And coming up is Christopher Neal trying to reclaim second place. Remember, he's the driver who caused the first incident of the night.
White flag is out right now for Tomahawk Tommy Croft. He's going to clinch a Drivers' Championship. Jeep's already got the manufacturer's crown in this competition. Action battle back for second place. It's a 4-car duel. These guys are banging off the hydro barriers, and now it is the number 2 of Larry Noel who's moved back into second place, but I'm still waiting to see, and I think he's going to be penalized here. Here comes Tommy Croft. 6 in a row with 1 race remaining. He wins the Drivers' Championship, and the manufacturer's crown is guaranteed again for Jeep.
Take a look at this. This is the battle for second place. The number 28 of Corey Witherall and the number 2 of Larry Noel. They come to turn number 5, and the pictures speak for themselves.
Time now for the main event in Superlights as Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies continues. All part of round number 8 of the Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing Series. And on the front row, it'll be Greg George and Shannon Millen. And then Mercedes Gonzalez and Jimmy Johnson. All 4 of those vehicles, Nature's Recipe sponsored machines. And it's no wonder that this team has been dominating this class.
And you got to give the edge here to Shannon Millen. She has carried a lot of momentum into this round. A very big emotional win for her earlier tonight in the heat races. That's going to give her a little bit of extra confidence boost that might make the difference here tonight.
Green flag flies and we are underway. Who's going to get it into turn number 2? Shannon Millen had a great start.
Dad, I'm telling you, Marty, that adrenaline was pumping in her. She was ready to go. She was on it quick, and we got a big pileup at the end of the front straightaway. The car that started it all was Joe Price in the number 5. He stacked them all up, including Mercedes Gonzalez, the number 6. There's one of the MEARS machines. That's the number 12, Clint.
Don't try and count them all, Ralph. You'll be here all night. Let's go the other route. That's the 3 that survived. Shannon Millen's got the lead over Greg George. Jimmy Johnson is 3rd, so it's going to be a nature's recipe race. These guys, boy, they don't realize the advantage they got on this start.
It is massive at this point, absolutely massive. But we've got 3 of the best super light competitors up front, all in team cars, so we know they're all equally prepared machines. This should come down to a test of the drivers. Now, we saw sparks out of Jimmy Johnson earlier in his heat race, and it looks like they're starting to show up again on the number 1. Oh, and Greg George loops it, spins it sideways, and that has cost him dearly.
Well, he's going to drop from a challenge for 1st into 3rd. He's going to have to play catch-up. Now the battle's between Shannon Millen and Jimmy Johnson. Johnson wears the number 1 plate because he won the championship in this series. He's driving 2 classes this weekend, the Grand National Sport Truck for Chevrolet and this vehicle, so he has lots of experience with this track.
It looks like those sparks are starting to show again out of the rear end of the number 1.
Yeah, also I saw him in Greg George's machine, so I don't know if that's a design characteristic now, because we got no reports that there was anything seriously wrong after the heat races.
No, and Greg George is smoking again like he was earlier, and he was able to bring the car home with any visible signs of a power loss. And look at him charging now, and Shannon goes wide.
Shannon Millen got her hands full with 2 former champions in this series.
She has not finished in the top 3 at any one of our races so far in 1993. This could be a huge race for Shannon Millen.
Well, let's give you an idea. The first 2 rounds were won by that man right there. You're looking over his shoulder, Greg George. Then Jimmy Johnson won the next 2 rounds, Seattle and Phoenix. Then Greg George came back to win 2 more at the Rose Bowl in Salt Lake. And then Sean Finley was the first non-Nature's Recipe team member, and he won the last time out at Las Vegas. Right now, whoa, Jimmy gets up on the bicycle, so that takes him out of play. So far, the only person who hasn't made a mistake or a little bobble has been Shannon Millen.
Exactly right, and that's why she has stayed out front. The question is, how tough is she mentally?
And she just got a little bit sideways there, and it may cost her, because here comes Greg George. He's going to nudge her.
Oh! They got together. They touched wheels, and he went over, and Jimmy Johnson went on and into the lead.
Now Shannon's got to hurry, or she's going to lose 2nd place. That is Jimmy Johnson now with a huge lead. Shannon Millen under attack for 2nd. The full course yellow has come out. The full course yellow has come out, so that's going to negate Jimmy Johnson's big lead and to give Shannon Millen one more chance as Greg George is on his lid back in turn number 3.
Let's show you a replay of what happened between Shannon Millen and Greg George. You see Greg's got the inside line. His right rear goes over her left front. 2 open wheel cars get together. Somebody's going over. The victim this time is Greg George.
Green flag flies. Jimmy Johnson in front of Shannon Millen. The number 6 of Mercedes Gonzalez is in 3rd. A little bit of history could be made tonight if the 2 young ladies can maintain those positions. No female duo has finished in the top 3 in the same event ever.
No, that would be a spectacular evening, especially since both of these ladies, well, Mercedes has finished in the top 3 only once this year, and that was at Anaheim.
Well, this would be Jimmy's 3rd victory of the season on the tour, and he looks to be in total command. The question is, Shannon Millen and Mercedes Gonzalez, where are the 2 of them going to finish? Here comes the checkered flag for Jimmy Johnson. Shannon Millen with 2nd place. Oh, no, it's going to be Sean Finley 3rd, edging out Mercedes Gonzalez here in the Conoco Rumble in the Rockies.
That victory ties you for third on the all-time win list with 8 in Super Lights. Congratulations. And look, you know, we saw a lot of sparks coming out of the back of your machine. Any idea what that was from?
Yeah, well, all our cars had a lot of sparks coming out. We ran some soft brake pads so we could stop a little better here on this track. It's real tacky, and they wear out a lot faster. In my heat race, me and Shannon Millen both lost our brakes completely.
Well, take a look at this. Is where you get the lead.
Yeah, I'm looking back, and I see Greg come up over a wheel, and basically I'm trying to slow down so I don't hit him, and then there was enough room for me to sneak through, and I just barely bumped Shannon.
Well, congratulations. I know you got to run. You got another main event coming up. Go get them.
Yeah, I'd like to give a big thanks to Nature's Recipe and the whole crew for putting together 100% a car for me.
Well, as we get ready for the main event, let's go back and take a look at heat race number 1. It looked like for a while, Ralph Shaheen, that Jimmy Johnson was going to take his first Grand National Sport Truck heat victory.
I sure thought so. Take a look at this. You can see how Jimmy Johnson went in real hard into the corner, got a little too hot in there. The truck ended up rolling over as all that weight shifted over to the right side.
Then Rick Johnson later in the race caused Roger Mears to change his line. It almost cost Mears the lead as he was battling with Ivan Stewart. Now remember, Rick Johnson was lap traffic at this point, but Mears Sr. regrouped with enough time and enough laps to take the victory in heat race number 1. That brought us to heat race number 2, where Mears Jr. and Ivan Stewart battled it out.
And what a spectacular pass it was by Ivan Stewart. Look how he sets him up, gets inside of him. Both drivers doing a tremendous job of racing very, very hard, very closely, yet very cleanly. No contact between the two. Ivan makes the pass, goes on to win heat number 2.
Now that brings us to the main event. Going to put you on the spot. Who do you like?
I think it's pretty easy, really. I think it's Ivan Stewart. He's been the most consistent driver all night long. He did win heat race number 2, and he was real close to winning heat number 1.
We are ready for the main event. Conoco's Rumble in the Rockies has come down to this moment. Green flag waves from starter Gary Scheimer, and this race is underway. Pedal to the metal. Ivan Stewart's in row 2. Rob McCachran bumps momentarily with Roger Mears Jr. It costs him 2 positions. It's now Mears Sr., Mears Jr., Ivan Stewart, Rod Millen. That's your top 4.
You know, we haven't seen much out of Rod Millen tonight, and it's going to be interesting to see just how hard he charges here in this final. Rod McCachran, we know, will run hard. He's trying to come up from behind him right now. Also, don't forget, Ivan Stewart said passing is very tough. You really have to watch and set the guy up in front of you.
Well, remember, the magic number for Rod Millen is 85. If he comes out of here with 85 points or more, he has clinched the 2nd straight Drivers' Championship in his career here on the Mickey Thompson Tour.
Ivan has got to get rid of Roger Mears Sr., make that junior now if he wants a shot at Roger Mears Sr., because he's got to get by junior and then reel senior back in and then set him up for a pass.
Well, the other thing to remember here, and you better believe there's some team tactics, Mears Jr. is going to do everything he can to keep Ivan Stewart behind him. Roger Mears Sr. has won this event 3 times out of the 5 prior runnings. He could go 4 for 6. There's Jimmy Johnson. We're watching him as he works that steering wheel. That's the view out front.
But look at the grip. It's not real hard. He's just loose on the steering wheel, just working it smoothly. We're into the high-speed section, over the washboard area, through the sweeper, 2 big jumps. This is turn number 2. Here's the high-speed section.
Let's also tell you now, as you see back behind Ivan Stewart, Ricky Johnson has moved ahead of Rod Millen. That's what he needs to have happen to have any chance heading into the final round at San Francisco's Candlestick Park. But here comes Rod Millen back. You can see him back in the side there, going door to door.
And this could make a difference for the Iron Man if RJ gets in the midst of this and starts messing around. Here comes the Iron Man.
All right, we're going to find out just how much Ivan Stewart.
And Rod Millen.
Just how much Ivan Stewart has left, because Roger Mears has a full straightaway lead. There's the margin. You can see as they go past the barrier cam. Right now, the number 4 of Roger Mears is in the front and holding on to it. We can tell you Rob McCachran was that Ford that you saw stalled right by the finish line. That was a hard bounce right there for Mears. Ivan Stewart looking to force Mears into a mistake. Two of the greatest names in off-road racing going after each other, nose to tail.
Oh, they got together there.
Ivan gives him a little nudge from behind. No harm, no foul.
But he is very much the gentleman in him, Marty. He backed off instead of sending him all the way around. But here comes Rod again.
And Rod also backed out right there, and I'm surprised at that. He had an opportunity to really stick his nose in.
RJ coming inside of Rod Millen as they try to make the challenge for third with 1 to go, and he was unable to pull it off.
All right, Roger Mears. Remember, he has won this 3 out of the 5 years that it's previously been held here at Mile High Stadium. Ivan Stewart's won 2 out of the last 3 events on the tour. Who's going to take the checkered flag? Just a couple of turns left to go. Hard left-hander, 180 degrees. Ivan not able to get any ground there. This is going to be a drag race to the finish.
That was his favorite passing point right there. Can he maybe make something happen in this last tight corner? Here they come.
Does he leave the door open? No. It's going to be Roger Mears. 4 out of 6 years. Mears wins the Rumble in the Rockies. Ivan Stewart, second. Third place goes to Rod Millen. Rick Johnson will finish 4th. What a great race. What a great win at the Conoco Rumble in the Rockies.
That's just absolutely amazing, and you did it with an ailing motor. How'd you do that?
Well, with that, the motor ran good that time, but we did lose 2 motors today. That's why my crew just did a heck of a job. The last motor we put in just ran super, obviously.
What is it about you and the Mile High Stadium as you held up Ivan Stewart in a tremendous battle?
Well, Ivan was definitely keeping me honest, and he was a real gentleman. I want to thank him for that. He could have given me some more trouble than he did, and I want to thank him. That was super.
Do you think now maybe we will see victory number 5 when we come back here for the 7th time?
Hey, we'll take them any way we can get them, and I love winning here at Denver. Obviously, it's been very good for us, and we can't wait to come back.
Roger Mears Sr., winner once again at the Mile High Stadium.
Let's take another look at tonight's winners of the Conoco Rumble in the Rockies. At the main event in Denver, in Sport Truck, it goes to Roger Mears. Larry Brooks in Ultracross. Jerry Welchel clinches the Super 1600 crown. Jimmy Johnson wins in Superlights for the 3rd time this year. Greg Stewart successfully defends his championship that he won here a year ago at Denver in 4-wheel ATV. And Tommy Croft clinches the Sport Utility Championship as well.
In-car cameras made possible by your friends at Chevrolet, BF Goodrich, American Racing Custom Wheels, Goodyear, and Nature's Recipe Pet Food. Bud Track Back sponsored by Budweiser. Winter Circle and Restart sponsored by Conoco. Barrier camera compliments of Dick's, CPEC, and Rancho Suspension. Mickey Thompson Stadium Off-Road Racing has been brought to you by Budweiser. Fresh, pure, natural, proud to be your Bud. And by Toyota Motorsports, where technology on a fast track is built into every Toyota. And by new advanced high-tech formula Quaker State Motor Oil. It's formulated for today's high-tech engines.